I gave my life to you. You've shown me what true love is. You've guided me, you protected me. I'm so happy, I'm so free, and I thank you.
Woke up this morning and the sun was shining. Hey, I feel so good now. No more worries on my mind. I've been just smiling, feeling your love around me. Having you right beside me, all of my problems pass me by. I didn't know I'd be so happy. Didn't know I'd feel so free. Didn't know your love would change me. I live in total victory. So many people tried to hurt me. They didn't know that it would help me. Because of you, I'm so much better. I didn't know, I didn't know. I feel so free, I can do anything. I got myself together, loose from people that were holding me. I can't see clearly now. Tears are full of joy. No need to let them need me. No more compromise, no more hurting me or deceiving me. Didn't know I'd be so happy. Didn't know I'd feel so free. Didn't know your love would change me. I live in total victory. People try to hurt me. They didn't know that it would help me. Because of you, I'm so much better. I didn't know, I didn't know. Now the world is free from guilt and pain.
Baby, shout out to Michelle Williams, y'all. This was my freaking album in high school, baby. Michelle's gospel album, Do You Know? That was my Jones, baby. Michelle did her thing. If y'all looking for a good, nice, sonically sounding gospel album, Michelle Williams, Do You Know? So many hits on that album. I low-key feel like it's kind of underrated, but I think she won did she win a Grammy for this album? I think Michelle won a Grammy for this album, if I'm not mistaken. Anywho, welcome to the platform, you guys. Happy Tuesday. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. You guys know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, please go ahead and thumbs up the video. Thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another conscious crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary. So please swing and bang and bully that like feature, whether you are a part of the replay gang, active with me in real time in these sky reeks, or whether you are a bush baby, hit that like. Also, if you enjoy everything that King does here, you can always donate to the platform at Consciouztv on Cash App and or paypal.me/ConsciouzTV. That's Conscious spelled with the Z on the end, just like it is here on the channel. All donation information and social media handles, once again, are in the description box below. Make sure that you guys have your notification bell set to all so that you never miss a day or hour when the king is in fact king. And last but not least, please share the stream out to whatever it is you have digital community, whether that be a YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, or the dark side of Twitter. I don't really give a damn where you just let them know that we're loud, live, and in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What is going on, Conscious crew? How you guys? Thank you guys so much for the compliment. Yes, I am in. This is my anti-MAGA here, honey. It's pro-Negro. It's anti-racism, anti-colorism, girl. Just unapologetically powerful in black and 4C, baby. Just how I like it, all right? So we're going to be in this era for a little while. Now, y'all may see it in various styles. Y'all may see it in various colors. Y'all may see it in Afro puffs, girl. Y'all going to see all type of variations of the style, but this is like my era. This is my unapologetic era. Unapologetically self-love, radically self-love, baby. Radically well, honey. Okay, baby. Everything is just going to be radical and over the top and intense, because that is the season that I'm in. It's the season that I'm nurturing. It's the season that I am sustaining, and it is where all of my joy is. And for some reason, every time I shift in consciousness, it's demonstrated through my appearance. So something about where I am, girl, has gotten me back to my roots, and that's probably what the natural hairstyles represent, is the fact that I've tapped on a cellular level back into aspects of my roots, the roots of my existence, of my divine self, baby. I've gotten to the core, honey. All right. So all of that. Also, I want to shout out to my baby father, Steve, for the old nasty piece of child support check, who says, thank you for the church tea and the scandals. So you guys know that I told you guys that as a result of the new year, we will be dilly-dabbling in various sectors. We will be covering church-centered content. We're going to be doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Also, I am currently making a Facebook page. It's like a fan page. Is where you guys are going to be able to go and get updates, get stories, get news. We're going to be live streaming from there as well, and we're going to be monetizing all of that. If there's anyone who has a specialty in Facebook and Facebook monetization, please contact me at Consciouztv@gmail.com, because I might need your help, as I will be very new to the Facebook algorithm as well as the Facebook's monetization system. So if anybody here has any information and any understanding of that system, contact me, because I'm gonna need a little bit of a helper out of girl. Okay, we're building an empire here, child. All right. Also, you guys, I have a very, very, very important business meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock with a well-known producer. I cannot go into details right now, but I've just kind of been quiet all day, getting all weirdo ass energy out of my proximity and focusing on tomorrow, because this is something that I want. This is something that I have attracted, and it is something that is going to be explosive for me if everything goes well. It's an in-person meeting, so I want you guys to just send me all light and love, honey. I want you to put me on your best altar, honey. I want you to fast for 30 seconds before you even get the hooting and hollering and raising the Holy Ghost for me. But I need all the conscious crew members, only those who truly support the king, only those who truly appreciate and value the king. I want you guys to put that energy on tomorrow's business meeting. I need all of that. If everything goes well, girl, this is going to change everything. Okay, so I'm very anxious. I'm not nervous, but I'm very excited. And yeah, this would be freaking epic. And just to pull something like this out of the ethers, just to even have access to an opportunity like this is a blessing in and of itself. It shows me that I'm on the right path. I'm in the right energy. I'm in the right version of myself. And yes, it's all about just sustaining this. Okay. So please, please, please cross your fingers, cross your toes, pray to your God, whoever that is. Okay. And ask that God, as them ancestors, them angels, baby. Okay. Them transcendent masters. Okay. To touch and agree with CTV's business meeting results for tomorrow morning. All right. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so let's get into the churchity mess. Hi, my beautiful moderators. Hey, Sin. Hey, Rumors. Hey, Styles by Stevie. Hey, everybody. Let's get into the things. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hey, Pastor. Pastor Jewett, I want to give you the greatest kudos for breaking down the craziness that is called the church, and maybe with your type of commentary, it could be glorious again. That is, yes, I am here. God has sent me to make the church sector great again, you guys, okay? I am here to save the church sector, okay? Speaking of the church sector, I'm also going to be interviewing you guys another bundle of Bishop Bernard Jordan's ex-Zoe ministry members. This time we have a couple. Remember, we just had James Singletary here, who was a musician for the church, Zoe Ministries, back in the mid-90s. And ironically, right after his interview, I got messaged by the minister of music, which was mentioned by James Singletary, okay? I didn't even know that Zoe Ministries at that time had a female music of ministry. So the female minister of music for Zoe Ministries and her husband are going to be here, girl, and they have a incredible testimony and experience of Zoe Ministries, you guys. So you guys get ready for that. I had a pre-interview with them. Was it yesterday, I believe? And they're going to be here out live and in color this Thursday at 5 p.m. on the platform. I've already set the live stream ahead of time, so you guys get in there, thumbs up ahead of time, share ahead of time, and make sure that you guys set your reminder so you can be reminded, baby, because it's going to be crazy. It looks like Surviving the Jordans is going to be playing out right here exclusively on the Consciouztv platform. And you know, you can tell that there's like an anointing and like a propheticness on what's happening, because I'm the only content creator who, in commentating about all of this Jordan drama, kind of has attracted all this domino effect, like from the audios to then James to now the minister of music and her husband, who were both couples, and more people are continuing to email me and contact me and to tell me their stories. I'm not having to go and do anything. I'm not having to go and hunt for nobody. I'm not having to go and search for anybody. Everybody is coming to me, including Isaac Jordan, Bishop Bernard Jordan's brother, you guys, who is claiming that Bishop Bernard Jordan SA'd him as a child. I mean, it is a lot of action and a lot of moving parts over there in the Jordan kingdom. Everything from alleged intellectual, the stealing and theft of intellectual property, everything from using spiritual gifts to dominate members, to spy on members, everything from fraud to It is literally a mess. So we're going to be getting into all of that. So once again, the watch page has already been created. You guys can thumbs up. Yes, it's a lot, you guys. Thumbs up, share that, and set your reminder. They will be here live and in color to provide their testimony. And once again, my contact information for anybody who is wanting to share their story, my information is always in the description box below. Consciouztv@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram and DM me, which is where the ex-Zoe ministry couple found me on Instagram. All right, so all those things. Hey, Auntie Trish. So let's get into why we're here today, girl. So first thing we got to do is get into breaking news, child. No, we're going to save Donnie McClurkin for the end, actually. Let's get into and maintain some continuity. Jamal Bryant, girl, y'all favorite baby daddy girl, okay? Jamal Bryant, you guys know, I touched on this story about, it was whenever I did one of those Jordan live streams, girl. We got into Jamal Bryant and his wife's dress. You guys know that Jamal Bryant and his first lady done stirred up controversy, baby, at New Birth because she pooched through in a flesh-colored revealing dress at a gala's fundraiser. Okay, this is the dress in question here, child. And it got all of the communities all stirred up, girl, from the secular community to the religious community, honey, has been stirred and having whole think pieces about this dress. There are people who are pro this outfit, honey. There are people who are with this outfit and with this get up, don't see no problems with it, think she looks beautiful. I thought it was Sherry Shepherd, as I said prior, baby, okay? I thought it was the colorism version of Sherry Shepherd, baby. I didn't even know that was Jamal Bryant's wife pooching through, girl. I thought Sherry and Jamal were dating. I didn't even know the man was married, girl. The last time I heard about this man, he was denying one of several of his damn children, denying two of several of his children, baby. So, you know, I was completely blown, child, okay? So this is the wifey, apparently, honey, okay? And I guess it went from New Birth to Housewife of Potomac, baby, okay? Shout out to the duality of it all. So the pendulum always swings. It went from pro dress, pro she's gorgeous, pro I don't see nothing with it, pro she wore an outfit like this at a venue outside of the church. Some people think that that's appropriate and that's fine. Then on the other hand, of course, there was scrutiny for the outfit. Now, in all the commentary that I have listened to, I think both arguments are missing the point. There are people who are saying the criticism about this dress is rooted in misogyny and rooted in patriarchy, and that we should be celebrating a black man, proud and celebrating his black wife. We should be rooting for, you know, this black love and this black man taking, you know, pride in, you know, okay? I think all the arguments are missing the entire point. But before I get into my whole commentary, I want to tell you guys what has happened since Jamal Bryant spoke out, because Jamal Bryant did take to the pulpit. He cussed everybody out, called everybody big back, told them they ain't never been nowhere. They broke, they on EBT, they on Section 8, baby. They can't speak, okay, to the black boule, girl, all right? He also let it be known that he's the one who chose the dress. Now, I don't know whether that helps the criticism or not, but he said he was the one who picked the outfit out, my God, today. Well, his peers, Pastor Patrick Wooden, spoke out, and Patrick Wooden, pastor that is, did not waste any time, you guys, dragging the HE double hockey sticks out of Miss Bryant and the First Lady. Check out what Pastor Patrick Wooden had to say.
A preacher presented his wife the other day, and I guess you call that a flesh-colored dress. I don't know. I don't know. It's black dress and flesh color. It gives the illusion that she's not wearing anything underneath. And I heard the preacher, when he defended her dress, by saying, first of all, he bought the dress. And then he said, I want to address people who don't know anything, who haven't been anywhere, who don't know nothing. So I guess our objection to a man of the cloth presenting his wife in public looking like a $2 whore. Two. At least two. Now, I didn't say she was. I'm not talking about her. My statement is not about her. My statement is about him. I said he presented his wife. And he said he bought the dress. Those are his words, not mine. There is nothing classy about that. There's nothing modest about that. He said we haven't been anywhere. What I would like to know is where have you been? Where did he go? So I'll make sure that I never go there.
My God.
Because I don't want to go anywhere. And I come back with that kind of a notion. Now, I will say this, and this is a comment about my wife, not his wife. This is a comment about my wife. My wife wouldn't have done it, no matter what I said. She just would have said, honey, I wear this for you. I wear this for you at home when we know the grandkids aren't coming. Because there is such a thing as decency. Decency. Y'all don't like me. But in public, at an event where everyone will see, I don't know of a greater way for a man to demean his wife. And if he doesn't think that that is demeaning her, there is something wrong with him. But then again, we're also talking about the guy who looked at Cam Newton's legs and told Cam he had pretty legs.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
God.
so,
what is Pastor, baby, Pastor? Pastor, baby, he walking heavy, baby. Why Pastor Wooden is walking heavy like this, baby? Baby, Pastor Wooden said that Jamal Bryant had his wife out there at a luncheon dressed like a $2 whole entire hoe. My God, today. Now, I don't know if God agrees with the term hoe in the pulpit, but hell, hoe in the Bible, I guess. So there's that, okay? We'll revisit this. Then y'all favorite, baby, y'all favorite. Y'all favorite homemade pastor, Pastor Earl Carlter. Yes, God. He had done jumped into the group chat as well, baby. And you know Earl Carter ain't holding not a thing back, baby. He gonna say it and then add more to it before he rebuke it. So let's check out what Earl Carter also had to say. And this is covered by Fair Use. Now, apparently also Gino Jennings slammed and dragged the Hades out of Jamal Bryant and his wife as well. And according to a Conscious crew member in the chat, Jamal Bryant and Gino Jennings are actually relatives, which I didn't know either. Small circle, right? So shout out to Gino Jennings' girl for not allowing blood to provide any qualified immunity, baby. Still got that work. First, second, seventh cousins and all, baby. Okay, great uncle and all, and still got that work, baby. Great grandma and still got that work. Anyway, I'll see if I can find out for y'all. If there's anybody here who actually has the Gino Jennings piece, email it to me or send it to my DMs, okay? And do that kind of immediately so we can pull it up in real time during the show. I'll try to find it as well. But this is Earl Carter, you guys, talking his talk about the dress drama. And this is also courtesy of the Joe 105 YouTube platform. So you guys make sure to give him a click in the view or her a click in the view and a like and everything. This is courtesy of their platform covered by fair use.
And the outfit was inappropriate to wear something that alludes to your naked body that only your husband should see. And that's why in Revelation, God said, I have something against you. You allow that woman, Jezebel, is a title, to teach and cause my servants to commit fornication. That is the imagination because of the inappropriate dress. Now, we're going to go with the Bible. Forget Jamal. You and your wife. And see, the church, they applauded this man. Look at what kind of church that is. That is a Laodicean church. And also, let me say, it might be Thyatira because God said, I got something against you because you're out.
Did Carter say a Laodicean church? My God, today.
Woman Jezebel to teach. And see, the whole principle about when Paul said, likewise, you wives be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation. With, let's say, unjust judgment. Do not judge if you're doing the same thing. That's what Romans, the 2nd chapter. Do not judge if you're doing the same thing. We cannot judge the world and prostitutes and hoes in the street looking like Corinthian whores. We cannot judge them because all they have to do is say, look at you.
Oh, baby, he provided me some new vernacular, baby. Did he say a Laodicean church? And then did he just say Corinthian whores? Did he just say Corinthian whores? God bless Earl Carter.
Y'all gonna judge us when she's showing her vagina, and then you got to explain, and then he's gonna get arrogant, talking you ain't worth. I mean, you never been nowhere. You've never had anything. Let me tell you, some black folk, we all came over here on ships and didn't have nothing. All right, so you stupid. Sin makes you stupid. Talking about he's arrogant. That looking like a horse. Talking about you never been nowhere. He rebuked the saints up and down, defending his wife. That don't make no sense. He's off. And watch this. People talk about it's not what you wear, it's what's in your heart. Let me go to Matthew 22:11. Sin makes you stupid. All right, God bless you all. Pamela,
baby.
Grid.
Earl is gonna give you the old apostolic down south butt cutting, baby. Okay, he gonna give you the old school down south apostolic biblical butt cutting. Oh yes.
Yes. Now listen, I'm not dressed the way I usually dress, but it's still not inappropriate.
Thank you to the street committee member who just sent me the Gino Jennings. Thank y'all so much, baby. Y'all be on. Oh, baby, I just love me some nosy righteous folk, baby. Thank you. So, baby, y'all be on it. Thank you to the country member who just sent that. I got it, baby.
Showing nothing except my outfit here, covering up. That's why God, he took animal skin to cover us up. And I preached a message one time, fig leaves are withering. And that is the covering of the body is no longer subscribed to in this church American style community. And I think I put maybe, let me see, 5. It should be, let's see, in Philippians 4 and 5. And
y'all thumbs up, please. We're working.
It says, the 5th verse, let your moderation be known unto all men. And here's the Perusia preparing to meet the most salient person, which is Jesus Christ. We're supposed to live in Perusia, preparing to meet the Lord Jesus Christ. Then Paul, who wrote 13 books in the New Testament, Paul says, let your moderation be known unto all men, that the Lord is at hand. Moderation means not to the extreme. And when you are inappropriately dressed, that means your dress is ugly. It's been spotted by the flesh.
Not spiritually ugly.
This woman
Ooh,
This
child.
Jezebelian woman.
Jezebelian.
Showing off
Ooh,
her
yes. Okay,
body.
okay. So far,
Right.
we got some new vernacular that we definitely gonna be employing directly from Earl Carter, girl. It's the sin-led church, the Corinthian whores, and Jezebelian woman. Cause you know I'm gonna have to find alternative cuss words, baby. Okay, to talk to my new church audience with, child. So far we got what it was, led to sin church, a Corinthian whore, and we got a Jezebelian woman, and then I just coined the term spiritually ugly. All right.
It's an outfit that alludes to her flesh. So the flesh has taken over this woman and has taken over, when I say flesh, sensuality, to lust. That's why you wear modest apparel, not to the extreme. Jamal Bryant, we all know him to be the worst example of a preacher or pastor. Here's this word I use all the time, and that is tupaz. Tupaz in the Greek means a modeling example. That's not an example of a first lady that's supposed to be an influence, and she is an influencer that have influence, and that is to cause others to emulate her or to imitate her. And nobody wants to say anything. Because afraid that, especially pastors,
he said the first lady is the one wanting to be a star. Okay.
To address immodest dressing, especially if the first lady is dressing like a whore, like a Corinthian whore. And it's terrible.
A Corinthian whore. What is Carl? Carl got to be on the down low, because, you know, I've only known queer men to be able to come up with radical insults, baby. Okay, very creative insult, a very wordsmith, baby. That's a queer superpower, baby. So and Earl has always given me down low realness. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised, baby. Okay. Shout out to my baby mother Jessica for the old nasty piece of child support check for love your content. Love that you loving it. Thank you, baby.
Yeah, there's a way that seemeth right, but at the end it leads to destruction.
Okay, so that's Earl Carter, you guys. Now let's get into Gino Jennings, who is cousins of Jamal Bryant. Okay, shout out to what YouTube channel is this? The Able Global Prayers YouTube channel. Okay, shout out to them. This is going to be fair use. I'm going to play this on my phone, so make sure you guys got your headphones in. This is Gino Jennings' commentary on Jamal Bryant's wife's dress, and Jamal Bryant is his cousin.
Significant other was basically flaunting whorish clothes you can see through it, see body parts and all of that stuff.
Because the other day the internet went crazy about a dress my wife had on. People got in their feelings and set up a false barometer of holiness based off of a dress. Now you got to help some people, because some people have embraced the full knowledge of ignorance without any assistance for understanding. The dress was not see-through. The dress was flesh color. But because you ain't never been nowhere and ain't never been exposed to nothing.
Now for the most important part of everything we've done so far, the word of God, by the apostle, Pastor Gino Jennings.
My God, baby, it's about to get rough. It's about to get rough, child. And I'm preparing y'all ahead of time. My commentary gonna be rougher, baby. Okay, y'all ain't gonna like the type of teaching that I'm gonna provide.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Once again, we thank the one true living God for all his blessings and mercy that he showed on us, for sending to us the prophets and the apostles of the Lord and Savior, for the way of holiness that we are most fortunate to be a part of. We want to say Happy New Year to everybody.
Let me speed up a little bit, girl. Let's get to the point, girl. I don't want to be in church for 4 hours. Give me the word of the Lord, baby, and let me loose, Pharaoh.
Starting to agree with me online, you know, and I guess really it's starting to come out of the closet, should I say, talking about my cousin Jamal Bryant.
Woo, sure.
And how disgraceful his significant other was basically flaunting whorish clothes you can see through it, see body parts and all of that stuff. Brothers and sisters, let us remember, everybody in the pulpit pastoring a church don't mean they're a preacher. No, you have a lot of men that's in the pulpit, but they're not preachers. The churches are one of the biggest entertainment centers in the world.
All
When
right,
you're talking about church, now you're talking about God's law, God's precept, God's rule, God's way of thinking, God's order to govern the church. And when the church ceased to be governed by God's command, it's no longer the church. So for it to be the church by the Lord Jesus Christ, the scripture is the manual. Whenever you buy a car, it's supposed to be a manual that comes with it. And some folk don't read the whole thing, but they go to the pages that point everything out by number. But this, everything about ourselves, detail, is functioning in here. In fact, whether you eat the tree of knowledge, good and evil, and get the knowledge of good and evil, both fruits is in here. The knowledge of both fruits consists of scripture. And the thing that we have the tough time of doing is eating one tree less than the other. Most people love the tree that gives the knowledge of evil. Am I right, I said? And most people love that tree. You know why? All the fruits are sweeter. I mean, the fruits is pretty sweet, isn't it? Very sweet on the.
You know, I'm being triggered back to my 11-year-old self. I remember sitting in church, hearing sermons like this, while fantasizing about how I'm gonna skip homeroom in the morning. Yeah. Sermons like this ain't never did nothing for me.
Evil tree, but the fruit is good. When you get the knowledge of good, those fruits are better, because that brings endurance, suffering, hardship, trials. It tests your stability. It tests your spiritual stamina. Also challenge your survival instincts in God.
Okay.
Amen. So the beautiful thing as the year.
Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit, baby. Let's get to the meat, child.
Lately, I've been reading a lot, and I feel really inspired.
You paying bills over there. Let's pay them too, child. Thumbs up the video, child. This is for Gino
Be
Jennings.
strong in God. You want to be strong mentally. Most Christians who.
All right, so we ain't going through all that, girl. It looked like you know he used it to pivot into another type of a teaching, girl, but he don't think it was becoming. All right, so here is what I'm going to reiterate some things that I've already said out loud. Oh, what? So before we get there, actually, okay. So there is a Facebook content creator by the name of Mia, and she decided to call out Pastor Patrick Wooden, who slammed Jamal Bryant and his wife, you know, the alleged $2 hoe outfit. And she posted pictures of Pastor Wooden, with a man wearing a red dress. Now look, y'all. I don't know what the context of this picture is, baby. I know that there is a thing called the red dress sprint, I think, where a lot of men get help. Let me see if I can get, hold on. Let me provide the proper context. Hold on, let me see something. Let me call my homeboy Tramel because he actually participated in the sprint, child. They photoshopping Pastor Witten's heads on dresses, girl. Baby, they are dragging. They are dragging up and down on Facebook, girl. Okay, giving Pastor Witten that work, girl. Okay. Let me call my friend Tramel because he participated in the red dress run to get a context here. Hold on. I don't know what the context was for this picture, child. Why this man dressed it up? Why he wearing a dress? Hold on. Let me call my friend, y'all. No, this is not AI. This is real.
The person you're trying to...
Okay, hold on. Let me call him right back, Rhea. He probably somewhere in a damn dress. Come up out of there, Lucifer. Hold on, y'all. Yes, this is Tramel from Trace in Atlanta. And from G Status. My baby father.
Your call has been...
No, why she gonna call me back as soon as I end this damn live when he ain't needed no more? Okay, so hold on. Let me see if I can pull up. What is... Let me see this thing. Hold on. The red dress marathon. The Red Dress Run. The Red Dress Run is an annual charity event in New Orleans hosted by the Hash House Harrows, where thousands of people of all genders wear red dresses for fun. Roughly 2-mile run walk through the city, followed by a large park with food, drinks, and music, with proceeds benefiting local charities. It takes place on the second Saturday in August and is known for its festive, including atmosphere and vibrant sea of red attire. Okay, so it's a fundraising event, child. All right, so I don't know. Did this look like this might have been where this possibly came from? But whatever the context is, girl, Facebook user Mia was using it, girl, to drag and I guess to punch holes in Patrick Witten's theology. But you know what I will say to this picture is, girl, at least Pastor Witten is supporting a black Christian man who is wearing a modestly styled dress, honey. Okay. Because it wasn't about First Lady's dress. It was about the alleged immodesty of the dress, girl. So at least, baby, okay, he's standing by the fact he ain't got a problem with dresses, baby. He got a problem with the immodesty of the gown. Now, moving along, let's get back to this here. So this is what I'm gonna say that I've already said first and foremost. I think that there are too many modern Christians who center themselves in this modern version of Christianity. The Christians want to be the main character. God is the background singer. God is the background dancer. God is just what's used as a pivot to center the actual Christian. Okay? These same criticisms we had for the Bling Bling bishop, who is locked up down there at Sing Sing for fraud because him and his first lady were wearing $500,000 worth of jewelry to a storefront church in Jersey. I mean, make every bit of sense. What is really the point? Okay. Now, with that being said, my problem is not the dress. My problem is not woman's body. This is not even an issue of patriarchy or misogyny or, you know, women can't do this and women can't do that. Let's be very clear about what the context is here. This dress is in question not because it's on Beyonce, which there wouldn't be a conversation about. Not because it's on Sierra, which it wouldn't be a conversation about. But because it's on a Christian woman who is allegedly centering Christ. And that is where the nuance is in this dialogue. Now, do I think that Jesus would condemn the light-skinned version of Sherry Shepherd here in this dress? No. Do I think he would throw some clothes on her ass? I sure the hell do, because Jesus was not a Christian. Jesus was a Jew. Okay. Jesus was a Jew. And during Jesus' time, as a Jew, 2,500 plus years ago, women dressed in robes, flowing robes, dresses, gowns, etc. Immodesty was a thing then. Now let's fast forward a little bit more. You know what my biggest issue with modern day Christianity is, and why I can't get down with Christianity, and why Christ don't get down with it either? It's because a lot of the church really plays down the radical interpersonal development that Christ is focused upon. A lot of modern day Christians, I realize, while they respect Christ because what Christ has done for them through the blood and through the death and through the resurrection, actually specialize very little in his teachings, which is why a lot of modern Christians will be sexist, which is antichrist, be homo and transphobic, which is antichrist, which will be pro-patriarch, antichrist, which will be pro-capitalism, which is antichrist. A lot of them respect Christ, but they don't do the teachings of Christ, because the teachings of Christ actually center around radical interpersonal development. And what I'm ultimately saying is that Christ don't give a good goddamn about your sexy. God don't give a damn about whether people think you beautiful or not, whether people think you attractive or not. God don't give a damn about what shape your body in, whether you got a fupa or a six-pack. And the fact that we have people professing to be Christ who participate in the same social constructs that Christ came to divide you from and to destroy in all actuality is literally the telephone pole in Christians' eyes while they're out here preaching and encouraging and condemning and criticizing other people for the way they live, show up, and exist. The scriptures say that Christ did not come to anchor you in, but to separate you from your fathers, from your mothers. Ultimately, talking about separating you from these systems of man. When you participate in these social constructs around beauty and beauty capital and beauty equity, what you are doing is actively sustaining a capitalistic system that literally is divisive and that also births things like body dysmorphia, births things like insecurity around the way one's appearance is presented by their genetics, which is irrelevant to the spirit and the soul that houses that particular body. What you do is participate in the very and uphold the very systems that utilize light-skinnedness, white-skinnedness, that elevate the cosmetic, community, that elevate cosmetic surgeries, that elevate eating disorders, the same systems that utilize colorism, classisms. These are the systems that Christ are actively trying to deconstruct and dismantle by getting Christians to experience a radical inward transformation, which is a true representation of beauty. You know, that thing that you call character, you know, the beauty in being a trustworthy person, the beauty in being a self-aware person, the beauty in being a kind person, the beauty in being a giving person, the beauty in being a rational, sane, grounded peacemaker, the beauty in being a person focused on justice rather than entertainment. You know, all of those beautiful, beautiful qualities, you know, the things that nobody cares about anymore. Because everybody wants to look the part and everybody wants to participate and feel like somebody. But the issue with the way that a lot of Western Christians want to feel like somebody is they're feeling like somebody from the outside in rather than from the inside out. And that's why there's a whole sector called the church sector that can have a lot of scandalous content, because it's proving that that focus from the outside in is not leading to the actual development of a group of people who the scripture says supposed to be distinguishable from these systems. They're supposed to be uniquely made. Christians are supposed to be so radically unique in the way they present, in the way they be, that you're supposed to be able to literally look at them and see the difference. Instead, you got Christians who want to have passing privilege with the world and in the world. Baby, the pastor want to be Jay-Z and he want First Lady to be Beyonce, all on his mouth like liquor. So my issue is simply that most people can't have money without identifying with money. Most people cannot dress sexy without identifying as sexy. Most people can't elevate their economics without feeling themselves. And Christ knew this, because that thing they call sin, aka the ego, is always wanting to identify as. Now the question has to be, why would a Christian woman who represents the humbled teachings of Christ want to present in a way that draws lust and that arouses sexual tension? And why would a man who represents Christ want his wife to present in a way that arouses those energies unnecessarily in other people and other men? Why? What is the psychology? What is being subliminally communicated here? Because once again, this dress does not center Christ, it centers her. And the sad part about it is Jamal Bryant picked a so-called trophy wife, which is also a missing of the mark as well. He picked a woman who he believed had the beauty capital to not only arouse him, but to arouse any other man looking. Is that what a man of God should be using as a metric to choose his wife? Is her sex appeal? Or is it her mind? Is it her intellect? Is it her spirituality? Or is it the way she looks in a body dress? Is it the way she looks in them jeans, as Genuine must say? I don't have a problem with the dress itself. I'm more so curious about this wave of Christians who use God as a backdrop. This wave of Christians who are interested in centering themselves and using the power of God, the name of God, the likeness of God, the word of God as a way to prompt and elevate themselves. Just like I had issues with Jamal Bryant using the pulpit out of all places to address his critics, which was completely, utterly inappropriate. The pulpit is not for you to hammer out your personal differences with other people. The pulpit is not for you defending your wife or her freakum dress. The pulpit, the house of God, is not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you. But see, Christ knew this. Christ knew that humans have a difficult time ascending in wealth, ascending in class, ascending in all these things without losing their mind. Christ knew that it's that these things tempt humans to move away from their dignity, to move away from genuine artistic self-expression. Because this shit here is cheaply personified ego expression. Both the man of God and the first lady could have did better than that. Why nobody want to be humbled anymore? Why doesn't anybody want to be modest anymore? Why do Christians want to look like the world? But then have this S on their chest as if there's something separate and set apart. Set apart where? Baby, you shop at the same stores I shop at. You eat where I eat. You dance where I dance, baby. You live where I live. You got the same material ambitions that I have. You participate in the same system that I participate in. Why is it that nobody want to look like Seeley? Why nobody want to dress like... Let me tell you something. Christians really supposed to be living like Amish people. Christ literally taught a system and a way of being that is so radical that even Christians don't want nothing to do with it. Christ didn't have a mega church or a mega temple. You know what Christ had? A mega hill. A mega mountainside. Christ didn't and saw the flawed premise of putting resources and money into brick and mortar when God is literally, as Christ said, within. You all are the sons and daughters of God. The kingdom of heaven is within you and all around you. And we can harmonize that anywhere, at any time, wherever we be, from the front living room to the front yard to the middle of the street to a gutter, a back alley, or a well-to-do structured building that we call a church. Christ and his followers, they lived off the land. They lived out of the earth. They ate healthy wheat, beans, berries, fruit. You're talking about naturalists. You're talking about the most meek and the most humble salts of the earth. That ain't the Christians today, baby. These Christians are baddies, my love. And then you wonder why they're so easily tempted into scandal and into sin. I mean, Jamal Bryant, right? To Earl Carter's point, my God, this is all right up his alley. A man who's not even taken claim of children that he used his genitals to give birth to. Who doesn't even have the same pride in being a father, but has the same pride in toting around a trophy wife. And a Christian woman who also is so delusional because she's so vacuumed and engulfed in the system that she thinks that she's winning because she has a man who has delinquent spiritual debt against him by his children. My God, today, it can't get no more delusional between these two. What woman who has the superpower to create life, who knows what motherhood looks like, may even be a mother herself, could even respect a man who doesn't respect his role and the power of his own genitals and is out here laying women down and giving birth to children that he's not even taking this same level of pride in. This is literally the delusion of the egotism that exists in both of these individuals. Hey, Miss Miko. Hey, baby. Hey, sister. My issue isn't the dress. I have more questions about what is being accomplished here. I thought it was their Bibles who said that they can't serve two masters. And here we see very strong self-ID Christian people boldly keeping one foot in the dough and one foot in another dough. And then once again, wonder why scandal can so easily happen to people who call themselves holy. People who call themselves deacons and bishops and prophets, etc. All of that spiritual mindedness and even those spiritual gifts are being obstructed but by the priority a lot of these so-called Christian people place on the ego and trying to blend and merge and make a community out of both water and oil is why the church has lost its power, why a lot of spiritual people are operating at a very low spiritual frequency. Even their gifts are operating at a low level frequency. There's a reason why you don't see the level of grandiose manifestation out of the church today that you're reading about in these history books and reading about in these spiritual literatures. Christ literally talked about dying unto self, the crucifixion and the crucifying of the pain body, of the trauma body, of the flesh body. Talked about the potency of spiritual hygiene and how that leads to fluidity and spiritual manifestation and supernatural healing, and also encourages righteousness and a pure heart. People who take in this much pride in themselves, people who identify this much as the I don't recall Christ saying only follow me when we're in the temple. Ultimately, the first lady and the man of God should be presenting at all times in ways that are a representation of the actual teachings of Jesus. And if she wouldn't have wore this in church, and if he wouldn't have had her wear this in church, then while we're outside of the church, when they both claim to be employees of the Most High, wherever they are, it's supposed to be where the holiness is, where the representation of that movement is. I don't have a problem with the church. I don't have a problem with a non-Christian woman wearing something like this and a non-Christian man having his wife wear something like this. And there's nothing wrong with the dress itself. It's the mindset behind it. It's the psychology behind it. Christians don't want to live that life. that Christ specifically is demonstrating the total dismantling of the ego. They don't want that. Western Christians are infused with capitalism, are infused with Western ideology. It's all intermixed and intermingled into their walk in their Christianity. So nobody cares that or has a problem with the dress itself. The context here is Christianity and who are you representing? And I think all modern Christians, especially Christians of status, need to really ask themselves who's really being centered in their lives. Because if a lot of privileged Christians are really being honest with themselves, they might come to a sad and tragic reality, but one that's necessary for them to really turn the wheel by realizing that they're using God to center themselves rather than finding a way to center God in all things. This demonstration here was about approving something. This here demonstration was about these two people centering the level of the system they're participating in. This was their demonstration and their receipt that we're both successful in God and in the world. This was really the proof of them serving both masters, the system and the Christ. But the scriptures say you can't even serve both. So really, if you're serving anything outside of Christ, then you're serving something else. As the scriptures say, a form of godliness, but deny the power thereof. Would Christ send her to hell for this? No. But would he throw a shawl over her ass? He sure would. A Jewish man would. In Jewish culture, they would. It's not necessary to present from your ego when you are infused with the Holy Spirit itself. So from her thinking it's appropriate based upon who she serves to present in such a commercialized and worldly way, to him using the pulpit to get his egoic rocks off. Oh, they're definitely equally yoked. They're definitely equally yoked. Okay? Both spiritually delusional. Okay? And full of themselves. And look, I'm pro-woman, I'm pro-black, I'm pro-black love and all of that, baby. But what I'm more pro is pro-Christ, baby. If y'all gonna do it, do it. Do it, baby. Do it, baby. Because if you're telling me that the Holy Spirit inspired him to present his wife out of all things at a fundraising event, like Patrick Wooden said, like a $2 hole. Baby, did you come to sell her or what? Because, baby, everything is on theme, baby. From the outfit to the fundraising gala, baby. Is she the one that's on sale? They had an opportunity in a worldly space to make it about God, and instead made it about being in the world too. These are things that becoming Christians do, but not Christians who are deep off in the teachings and mysticisms of Christ. Now, ideally, it would be nice if we live in a world, baby, where we could have things without having us. But most of the population is not at that place. And this is why Christ rallies against even Christians accumulating a lot, because it typically will bleed into their identity. It typically will tempt humans to resurrect false securities and a false sense of power, which is why Christ constantly encouraged those who are with to be without, constantly encouraged those who are plentiful in resources to give. To consistently take the focus off of you. Take it off of you. Take it off of you. Take it off of you. Why you think that they hung that nigga, baby? Them niggas didn't want to hear nothing about none of that. What you mean? Don't send to me. Baby, it sounds good in theory, baby, but nobody really likes it in practice. That's why I always say that I know very few Christians. I know a lot of people who ID as Christian, but I know very few actual Christians. So God bless the Bryant household. It is a mess, from the fathering to the delinquent children to the infidelities to the first lady wanting to be Beyonce girl. It's a whole mess, baby. Everything looks a mess, baby, from the inside to the motherfucking outside. And yes, she looks good. Yes, she looks well. Yes, she is slaying it down to the ground. And yes, she looks like everybody else, unfortunately, as a Christian who's supposed to be set aside and set apart. And why he wouldn't want his wife to do that and be that, set aside, be uniquely made, go against the grain, do what's not expected to be done. I don't know. But I know that it's toe up. From the inside out, baby. Toe up. Is that why he ain't got no hair? Moving it along. Let's get into Mr. Donnie McClurkin. Yeah, y'all favorite transformed post-homosexual girl, post-heterosexual, I should say. Y'all favorite post-converted heterosexual Donnie McClurkin girl is being sued by his ex-mentee for molestation. Y'all, this is a mess. We got to talk about it. Okay? Courtesy of NBC News. Grammy-winning gospel singer and pastor accused of sexually abusing a young man. Woo, child. Jesus. My mama used to love her some Donnie McClurkin, girl. Love her some Donnie down. Yes. Donnie McClurkin, a Grammy-winning gospel singer and pastor, actually abused a young man over several years and wrote an apology email declaring himself a dirty old man, according to a new lawsuit. Giuseppe Corletto says in the lawsuit that he was struggling to reconcile his sexuality with his faith when he sought out McClurkin in 2003. The lawsuit says that Corletto, then 21, went to McClurkin's church in Long Island, New York, after reading his autobiographical book, which described how God helped him overcome the curse of that homosexuality. At the church event, McClurkin, quote, talked about being great as a child, which resonated with me because that's similar to my story, Corletto said in an interview with NBC News. He said he was brought to meet with McClurkin after the event, and the man took an immediate interest in him. Quote, at first, it was very innocent in what I thought was mentoring, Corletto said in the interview. But he now believes that he was being groomed from the start. McClurkin began to molest Corletto during Pray the Gay Away spiritual sessions, the lawsuit says, and the abuse escalated over the next several years. During this period, Corletto worked as McClurkin's assistant and regularly traveled with him, according to the lawsuit. Corletto, quote, struggled to process these incidents of sexual abuse as McClurkin was both his mentor and employer, making it difficult for him to speak out about the abuse he had suffered, the lawsuit says. An attorney for McClurkin, now 66, said the allegations are categorically false. At no time did Pastor McClurkin engage in any form of sexual abuse, assault, or sexual coercion of Mr. Corletto, the attorney Greg Lassie said in a statement. The claims set forth in the lawsuit grossly miscategorized their interactions, which occurred over a decade, and some accusations over 2 decades ago. All these allegations are contradicted by the real facts. After an alleged sexual assault at a Niagara Falls hotel in 2013, the lawsuit says that McClurkin wrote Corletto in an email apologizing for his actions. Quote, I am the actual epitome of a desperate, dirty old man, he allegedly wrote in the message, according to the lawsuit. Quote, pawning and groping a young man who was just looking for a friendship and close platonic relationship with someone he wants, looks to for help, guidance, and spirituality. I feel so foul, so stupid, McClurkin added in the email, according to Corletto's lawsuit, which was filed Friday in state Supreme Court in Manhattan. The gospel singer turned pastor has won 3 Grammy Awards and sold millions of albums. His path to stardom was paved in part by Oprah, or as I like to call her, Oprah Winfrey, who in 1996 declared his self-titled album as one of her favorite things. Baby, she ain't seen Jesus since. But his childhood was brutal. McClurkin wrote in a 2001 book, Eternal Victim, Eternal Victor, that an uncle actually abused him when he was just 8 years old, which he believes caused his homosexual. My God, today, this is loaded. Quote, a seed had been planted, McClurkin wrote, a seed that would be my lot to struggle with for many years to come. He said in the book that reading scriptures helped him to overcome the struggle. Quote, there are many more things that need to be done to break the curse of homosexuality, but that's another book, McClurkin wrote. Corletto says that when he read McClurkin's book, he felt an immediate connection. They both grew up poor in New York, and he says that he too was sexually abused by a relative as a young boy. Corletto said he went to McClurkin's church and followed his guidance, hoping for the same outcome. Quote, I truly did believe he was fully delivered from homosexuality, Corletto said in the interview. I was doing whatever they were saying to rid myself of it. Corletto said he became McClurkin's assistant in 2004, and about 2 years passed before McClurkin began to grope him during Pray the Gay Away sessions. On work trips, the abuse escalated to rape, Corletto said in the interview and in his lawsuit. On a trip to California in 2007, McClurkin also brought his then girlfriend. The lawsuit says he still forced himself on Corletto and raped him in a hotel room. When confronted about the incident, the lawsuit says that McClurkin told Corletto that he was on medication and didn't remember anything. Quote, McClurkin further manipulated Corletto, blaming him for the incident and convincing him that he was the sole culpable party. The lawsuit says as a result, plaintiff experienced intense shame and confusion. The abuse also took place at McClurkin's house of worship, Perfecting Faith Church, the lawsuit says. McClurkin would secretly grope Carlter before going to preach, causing him to cry during the service, according to the lawsuit. And McClurkin would then use his tears to encourage other congregants to openly express emotion, the lawsuit said. Carlter attempted to quit his job multiple times, the lawsuit says, but McClurkin guilted him into staying. Quote, he would always compare me to people in the Bible like Elijah, Elisa and Elijah, Carlter said, referring to the prophets who had a mentor-mentee relationship. There was a lot of biblical manipulation. I thought I was to blame, Carlter said. I was brainwashed to think that my deliverance was wrapped up in him. He finally quit in 2008 and ultimately got a job at a major airline, but McClurkin continued to pursue him, the lawsuit says. McClurkin's public profile grew during the period, Carlter says, he was preyed on. The acclaimed gospel singer performed at a You know what? I know you lying. Baby, it's some liars in this house. If you see them, pour them out. Baby, I know you got to be lying, baby. I know the devil is a red whore liar. Oh, he did it, baby. This thing said here, Republican. Oh, baby, he did it. He did it, girl. Because ain't nobody on the Republican side, baby. Ain't nothing but a damn bunch of predatory, nympho, child-loving ass PDF files, baby. From that Elon Musk and his whole damn lineage of child abusers, to Trump himself, to J.D. Vance weird. Why y'all did not tell me that Miss McClurkin was up there praise breaking at the 07, at the 04 Republican National. Girl, I don't even need to read no more. I know you lie. Wow. And in 07, he appeared at a gospel event organized by then candidate. So he tried to get his black card back. Baby, baby. It's the backpedaling coochie popping for me. Okay? Now he tried to reclaim his black card 3 years later, girl, when Obama got in office, sparking a backlash from gay rights groups and prompting Obama to issue a public statement saying, I strongly disagree with Reverend McClurkin. Okay, Obama standing on business, baby, because Obama was pro-queer and is the one who opened up the space to legalize same-gender loving marriage. All right? So he had no idea he was bringing in a raccoon. Okay? He had to apologize on behalf of the staff that facilitated that, baby, and speak out. They strongly disagree with the views of Mr. McClurkin. That's right, Obama. Carlter said he became depressed and suicidal in the years after the Niagara Falls hotel incident in the Niagara. I said Nigeria, girl. The Niagara Falls hotel incident in 2013. He attempted to take his life, and afterward, he briefly returned to McClurkin's church. My God. I thought, well, you strayed from God, so you've got to go back to God, Carlter said. But he soon decided to leave the church and cut off all contact with McClurkin. Carlter said it wasn't until last year that he came across the email McClurkin sent after the night in Niagara Falls. Quote, I know I apologize for my wrong attitude from Wednesday, but I want to apologize for all of my behavior that has been wrong and put you in a wrong place, McClurkin wrote, according to the lawsuit. I have no one, and I feel it more than ever, but I was horribly wrong trying to force you into something that you were consistently saying no to, McClurkin added, according to the lawsuit. Quote, I am too old to be like this. Carlter said the email following years of emotional and spiritual turmoil was a source of relief. Quote, I didn't make this up. I wasn't crazy, Carlter said. I felt vindicated in some ways. He literally admitting to his guilt. The suit is being filed under New York City's gender-motivated violence protection law, which in 2022 extended the statute of limitations for plaintiffs to sue over sexual abuse allegations. The 2-year window closed in March of last year, but parties have in some cases entered into what's known as tolling agreements, which extend the statute of limitations. Carleto's lawyer, Thomas GWORL, said he hopes the lawsuit will provide his client with compensation, closure, and some measure of justice for what happened to him. GWORL said that McClurkin took advantage of someone who was confused and had problems accepting his sexuality coupled with his religious beliefs. It's very, very sad. Carleto said he's now in a much better place. He's married and no longer feels tormented. Ever since I did embrace my sexuality and stopped trying to change it, the weight of suicide has left me, Carleto told NBC News. Things are still a bit more complicated when it comes to his faith. He said he's tried to go to church, but has been unable to sit through an entire service. Quote, I listen to praise and worship music still, and that's what I consider church, Carleto said. So in many aspects, though I lost friends, community, my religion, I found myself, my family, and my peace. Wow, you guys, this is pretty darn explosive. Well, Donnie McClurkin has also apparently spoken out per the platform who screen grabbed this, Joy105.com, and this is Donnie McClurkin speaking to this suit. Okay, check this out, covered by fair use, of course.
Listen, I'm in the studio. On the way here, I got some disturbing news
That he was being sued.
that I'm not going to share with you right now. But all I can say is keep me in your prayers. Keep me in your prayers. That's all I can say. But despite the disturbing news and despite some of the things that I'm going to have to deal with, praise God, all that I can say to you is yes, yes, yes. So all I can say to the Lord is whatever's going on, yes, yes. And so I'm going to give you a little sneak peek while it's still less than 100 people on right now. I'm going to give you a sneak peek. Well, we're over 100 now. No sooner did I say that. But I'm going to give you a sneak peek of the song. As a matter of fact, listen, I'm going to give you a chance to...
Okay, so let's skip through this, child. I don't want to hear no song.
Take it for what it's worth. And I just thought I'd bring you in the studio with me. Let you hear something. I just wanted to share that with you. I'll talk to you later after I finish laying it. All right?
He looks worried. He looks concerned. He looks shook. He looks frail.
I'm sitting here in the studio with Jeff. Say hi to him.
Okay, so all he pretty much alluded to was the fact that, girl, he got some real bad news that his ex-mentee is coming back from the grave for everything that he done worked for in his Christian career, girl. And it's under the guise of sexual grooming and abuse, my God, today. Now, here's the thing. We don't know whether this is true or not. This is going to play out in a court of law. We're going to follow this case. But let me tell you something, girl. If there's any authenticity and legitimacy to this email that Mr. Carleto claims is written at the hands of Donnie McClurkin, and because it's an email, they should be able to get a forensics investigator on that to extract the metadata from that email, which can trace it back to its original origins, aka Donnie McClurkin's actual email address. That's going to pretty much be wild. And that pretty much is the damn case wrapped up right there, girl. If that email is legit and authentic, Donnie McClurkin is cooked. He essentially admitted to being inappropriate, to inappropriate touching, etc., to ultimately assaulting his ex-employee, aka ex-mentee girl, and that is a mess. That's a mess. Now, what is interesting about all of the sexual scandal in the church, all the sexual scandal at the hands of men and women of God, is I think that this is the unfortunate pickle that religious people have gotten themselves into, because the reality is that sexuality and spirituality really are one and the same. Sexual energy is divine energy. As you move into deeper states and deeper levels of consciousness, you may find, you may understand, you may see, you may become aware of interesting, you may relate to your sexuality in a very different way. Prime example is, well, not prime example, but let me just say this. I'm not really surprised about the level of sextivity that go on in prophetic circles, the level of hypersexuality that go on and that are acted upon by very religious people. I'm not really surprised either by the way a lot of spiritually gifted people behave as it relates to sexual expression, because once again, sexuality has always really been a historical marker for spiritual groups, whether it's prophetic circles, whether it's a witch's coven, which utilize sexuality as a way to conjure spirits, as a way to strengthen commitment, loyalty, and bonds to coven members, as a way to also charge objects, also as a way to transfer spiritual gifts. Spiritual pacts are also made through sexual indulgence between parties. There's literally like an entire academia and an entire intellect around sexuality, sexual energy, and the way sexuality and sexual energy can be utilized spiritually, supernaturally, etc. Now, what's interesting about that is somebody said religious freak-offs. Religious freak-offs are a thing. And there is a higher way to engage in sexuality and sex in a righteous way, in a proactive way, in a healing way. But oftentimes, because a lot of religious people have no understanding of the spirituality of the religion they serve, and indirectly come into more sexual energy as a result of proxy to those heightened states of spirituality via the religious system they're using, and between their ignorance and between their lack of discipline and between their egotism, that usually results in a lot of spiritual sexual recklessness. And I've seen so many men and women fall absolutely prey to this. You're going to have sexuality and spirituality. You're going to have that. Sexuality and even the experience of sex, the experience of an orgasm, the energy and synergy behind an orgasm is literally the same energy that created the Big Bang. That physical orgasm is also symbolically represented by the spiritual inner orgasm that Christians experience as the Holy Ghost. That energy that gets them off their feet, gets them off their seat, that lays their ass down, that gets their asses to murmuring and stuttering and uttering, that gets them to vibrating and shaking and running. This is all the same potent, spiritual, cosmic energy created, utilized, and expressed by the divine in the creation of the multiverse. I have amulets in my home that are charged by sexual energy, that are designed to be charged by semen, by menstrual blood. Oh yeah, baby. I don't know if y'all ready for some type of teachings, baby. Baby, because CTV is deep off into Christian mysticism. And by Christian mysticism, I simply mean that my particular form of Christianity is very intersectional. There's hoodoo, there's voodoo, there's all type of African spirituality there. There is the crafts of the witches, there's all of that. But the principles that keep it all organized and keep it all in perspective are the principles of Christ, which is why I call it Christian mysticism. Some people call me a Christian witch. I don't have any problems with any terminology. I was talking to the couple who's going to be here Thursday, who was saying that Bishop Bernard Jordan had a habit of attracting a lot of gifted and artistic people. I wasn't surprised to hear that, because the gift of prophecy is the same as the creative mind. Both are birthed out of the same region of the mind. The gift of prophecy is the artistic mind. The artistic mind is prophetic. This is why art imitates life. This is why, from The Simpsons to various spiritual art, literature, philosophy, you can find prophecy. You can find prophetic potency. It's one and the same mind. God is sexual energy, and sexual energy is God. The problem with religious people is that religious people are so metaphysically stupid and so metaphysically illiterate and have no idea what they're truly signing up for, whether they're finding God through Christianity, whether they're finding God through one of the Abrahamic faiths, whether they're finding God through Buddhism, whether they're finding God through the New Age, whether they're finding God through I Ching, whether they're finding God through Cabal, no matter what. Typically, people become commercially inspired by these religious systems that are deeply metaphysical. And even if you don't understand anything about the spirituality behind it, because there is spirituality behind it, you're going to involuntarily experience the phenomenon of that spirituality that is encrypted in that religious damn system. So because most people are ignorant, but yet highly spiritual, highly artistically gifted, most spiritually gifted people are also artistically gifted. They can sing, they can write, they can draw, they can create. They also tend to be artsy. They're visionaries. And you're pulling from the divine self and all of that, where the synergy and principle of sexual energy is housed. If you don't have any self-awareness, if you don't have any personal education, if you don't have any personal disciplines regarding those states of consciousness, you may find yourself, unfortunately, victimized by those very same energies and ultimately victimizing other people in an attempt to express this sexual energy, which sexual energy also gets misused. A lot of people think horniness is just for the sake of procreating or rubbing one off. It's not. So many people have used sexual energy to motivate them in business, to motivate them in their work ethic, once again, to infuse spiritual objects with, to amplify their co-creating abilities alongside the laws of magnetism and attraction. There's so many productive and alternative ways to utilize this energy, but because most human beings, we are governed by our biological impulses, we just meet and interact with those needs at face value. And then we go looking for an outlet. And it's unfortunate that so many religious people are tethered into a metaphysical system and are completely unaware of how experiencing and interacting with the energies of the astral, the energies of spirit, can arouse certain chakra systems that are heavily related and grounded in the sexual, and then go inappropriately, trying to treat and meet the needs that they become aware of, which they think are just purely sexual and are not spiritual, and then end up losing rank and putting themselves in predicaments like what Mr. Donnie McClurkin may be in. Now, that's just a heavily spiritual side of the argument. It's also crazy and uniquely synchronistic that both Tyler Perry and Donnie McClurkin are being sued, because both Donnie McClurkin and Tyler Perry have been abused sexually as children. We all know that for some victims of SA, they can become the victimizers. This can be learned behavior on a psychological level. It can be a way from an initial victim to reclaim their power by assimilating to the bully so that they can never be the sexual victim again. So they become the sexual predator. It's all twisted. And it's sad. You also have all of that sexual suppression, because once again, religion has not opened up the conversation. The large conversation around sexuality, around sexual expression, is tabooed it so bad, locked it and caged it in such a way that you have religious people suffering from a lack of healthy sexual expression and lacking alternative ways to experience intimacy, which can also soothe sexual enticement, sexual harassment. Sometimes when you experience what we call horniness, really is about your spirit communicating that there is a need for intimacy. And because intimacy is not synonymous to sex, you can experience intimacy through just conversation, through organic and authentic and transparent conversation. You can experience intimacy through engaging with someone who's emotionally available and emotionally receptive. You can experience intimacy in your prayer life, in your spiritual life with God. There are so many ways to experience intimacy without the use of sex. But once again, because we live in a culture that, especially religious cultures, are deeply uneducated. They don't understand the science of sex, the chemical of sex, the biology of sex, the metaphysics of sex, the psychology of sex. There's no conversation and information around any of these things. You have a lot of religious people making a freaking mess of themselves. Hold on. Hey, Jordana, Medusa says, every time I get mad at someone in a topic, your teachings always give me a better understanding and I feel much better and smart. Oh, thank you. What feedback that is, Medusa. Yeah, so look, I always pity people in higher positions around the issue of sex. Because the reality is that we are sexual beings, regardless of how we're taught, regardless of how conservative We are raised around sex, regardless of how the system, on one hand, it sells sex and uses sex at a low frequency level to encourage and create the system. But at the same time, especially in conservative and religious systems, you're a gate kept away from curiosities, dialogue, and framework around sexuality, around intimacy, which once again is not synonymous to sex. So lots of high-ranking people are in danger, because the reality is the higher you go, the thinner the air become. Also, the more profound your needs become. When the lawsuit spoke about the letter or the email that Donnie McClurkin wrote to this young man, and he spoke about how lonely he is, that's kind of the consequence of fame, the consequence of conservativeness, the consequence of wealth, the consequence of being in a position of power. And strange things happen to people's consciousness the more isolated they are, whether that isolation is externally induced or internally induced. Nonetheless, this is why the scriptures say that it is not good for man to be alone. Very strange things happen in humans' consciousness, things that dysmorph our consciousness, things that shift our consciousness, things that transform our consciousness, and mostly in ways that are not well. That's why in a lot of backwood communities, you find a lot of incest. In a lot of tight-wound communities, you find a lot of abuse perpetuated through the lineage. And by community, you find abuse and relationship and inappropriate relationships manifested onto animals, bestiality, self-harm. When human beings do not have the proper outlet and are not regulated properly, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, very twisted things happen. That's why we're seeing so many people in power and in wealth, once again, ravaged by scandal, by self-harm, eating disorders, drug addictions. Look at Diddy, look at Cassie. Look at the insidious things that happen even in this administration by our own president, caught up in one of the most extreme sexual scandals in history. And I don't think we've studied enough about the impact of power on human nature, the impact of extreme capital on human nature. We have so many people in the system who are assimilating to the top, assimilating all the way up. Yep. Look at the Catholic priests who are coming out by the droves, talking about basically the way that sexual isolation and suppression is causing sexual mutation and is leading to them harming the people that they have the closest proximity to and who are the most vulnerable, which unfortunately are children. That's a whole conversation that needs to be had. Is Donnie McClurkin a unhealed predator who had this distortion put in him via his own sexual abuse? In this case, he's not abusing a child, but he was being inappropriate with another adult. Is Donnie McClurkin simply a man in a very complicated predicament between his religious beliefs coupled with his actual reality, which is his need for partnership, his need for intimacy, his need for the genuine, authentic expression of his orientation. Is Donnie McClurkin as a spiritual person trapped up in a religious system, experiencing all type of energies that he don't understand, that he's inappropriately expressing in various ways? Is Donnie McClurkin simply being preyed upon? Because in the 21st century, baby, everybody ain't telling the goddamn truth, unfortunately. Is this a money grab? Because at the very least, if that email is authentic, baby, Donnie McClurkin is cooked. And why Donnie McClurkin has behaved this way is going to be important. Because we need an autopsy. If Tyler Perry is guilty of these things he's being accused of, if Donnie McClurkin is guilty of these things he's being accused of, I'm going to need the autopsy, because I need the data from that in order to understand what contributes and creates this type of behavior. Is it a little bit of everything at work? Relating to oneself inappropriately, sexually, tethered with power, and the loneliness and isolation and the effects and impacts on that. You don't hate that you missed it, Dr. Reed. You don't hate that you missed it. You don't hate, you subscribe, you got the notifications. You don't hate that you missed it. You intentionally missed it. Okay, let's be real here. All right? What is at work here? I want the entire autopsy, because as a culture, we're seeing too many of our stars plummet to the earth, crash and burn as a result of inappropriate sexual behavior. And that's not happening within a vacuum. There are very particular and specific variables that are creating that. And it might, in fact, just be a little bit of everything. Undealt with and unhealed shadow work, the mutated side effects of sexual abuse that have gone unchecked, that create psychic injury, coupled with also being a privileged person and the isolation and pressure that comes from that. Because let me tell you something. Also, as someone who is a sexual connoisseur, I don't have a lot of sex, but I study sex. You will be surprised how many tight-wound, very responsible people who make up our teachers, our doctors, our educators, our politicians are into BDSM, who like to participate in a lot of sexual scenarios that strip them from a role, that strip them of an identity, or a lot of this tight-wound, very responsible living can create an aggression because that energy needs outlet, whether it's to the extreme of tear me apart, tie me up, zip me up in leather, suspend me from the ceiling, and whip me with a flank baton because I am nothing and need to be reduced to absolutely nothing because I'm tired of thinking, I'm tired of being, I'm tired of roles, or rather it's all of that responsible, tight-wound, conservative, structured, mechanical living that creates heightened aggressions that lead to what then becomes, unfortunately, predatory behavior. I have friends who work in the sex industry. I have friends who are doms. And they tell me all the time how some of the most religious and conservative people make up their clientele. English elementary school teachers who come to them to be beat down, suspended, kicked, spit on, controlled, because these people need the opposite of the life they live. They need a space where they don't have to have a say-so, a space where they don't have to lead, a space where they don't have to give orders, a space where they don't have to be responsible for anything, a space where they can just submit. And in the alternative, some of their clients act as the doms because all of that structural living creates an intensity and energy that these people want to express sexually. I just think there needs to be a lot of conversation around the way power, the way even religion, the way that conservative ideas impact human sexuality and human nature. That's a whole thing. That's a thing. And I'm telling y'all, it is not by accident that we're seeing so many people. But see, and then it's that, of course, people are not going to step down. How many people step down from their livelihood because of their issues? None. The righteous, integral thing to do would be, Keisha, to step down. Yes. If you are beginning to experience yourself in such a way that you realize that you are causing harm, that you are about to cause harm, yes, you should step down. But unfortunately, in this world, that is not going to happen, and it's not happening. More people are staying exactly where they are and either trying to live to the best of their ability alongside their issues, alongside their psychic disorders, or are actively, unfortunately, using their privilege and their power to sustain these harms against individuals. And the crazy part about it is because there's such a complex psychological makeup of all the variables that create predatory behavior that the predators themselves don't even really think of themselves as causing harm, even though that's what it is. What they're really moving out of may be desperation, maybe loneliness, very much so human needs and emotions that are amplified by power, that are amplified by isolation, that are amplified by trauma, undealt with shadow work, etc. And so the predators just see themselves as getting their needs met. They don't even really concede that they are actually causing harm. It doesn't really translate to them that way. It's almost like being a lion that's designed to go and kill other animals for food. You don't really think of what you're doing as killing. It's just kind of what's necessary. It's kind of just your programming. It's kind of just what you do as a result of whatever it is you are. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that Donnie McClurkin is guilty? Do y'all believe this? Let's do a poll real quick. Do y'all believe Donnie McClurkin? Let's do a poll. I want to see how many of y'all believe. Let's see here. Do y'all believe? Oh. Do y'all believe Donnie McClurkin is guilty? Believe Donnie is guilty. Because if that email is real, girl, he's cooked. That broccoli been done, baby. If that email is real, girl, he might as well just go ahead and settle out of court. And Donnie McClurkin did look real nervous in that studio, girl, when he was talking about the news. He just got the real bad news, honey. If that email is authentic, and they will be able to authenticate it, girl, he might as well go ahead and settle out of court. But it's going to be interesting to see how this will impact his career. Do y'all think the Christian church is going to fall back? Do y'all think that he's going to lose his base? Do y'all think he's going to lose his audience if he's found? Oh, wait a minute. Damn, this many of y'all think that Donnie McClurkin is a sexual. Why y'all believe it? Okay, so that's my question now then. Why do y'all believe it? 98, almost 100% of y'all believe he's a predator? Is it because of the email, or is it for reasons outside of the alleged email where he pretty much just admits his crime? Hold on, who dressing in women's clothing? Because y'all know I don't be reading the chat when I be commentating because it takes me out of my zone. The email. Okay, so y'all saying the email. For a lot of y'all, it's the email. The email. It's that email. Okay, see, baby, it's the email so far for baby. It's the email for sure for a lot of us, girl. That email, girl. That email is diabolical, baby. He is cooked. That email is all she wrote, girl. We don't need to hear nothing else. We need to know nothing else, baby. Wrap this thing up by noon. That email is it. And typically, there's not just one. So God only knows how many more people now are about to enter the group chat and come for Donnie McClurkin's Christian neck. Okay, Pastor says he's giving code words. Okay, such as what, Pastor? What do you see? Like, what are you interpreting as a code word? Okay, so it's email for a lot of people, child. Keisha says we gave him the benefit of the doubt. The first, what you mean the first? What the first time? What's the first time, Keisha? What would be the first time? What do you mean by first time? The first time of what? Okay, my sense it was mentioned at a funeral that he was praying. Are you what? What you mean at a funeral? Oh, girl, see. Y'all got all the Donnie McClurkin tea, baby. What? Hold on, wait, what? The first time, a funeral, accusations that he was preying on young men. What are y'all talking about? What are y'all speaking of? Okay. George says, I would believe it because of how darn hard he went against B-Slade, former Tonex, when he spoke about his sexuality. That screams self-hate. Oh, there's definitely self-hate there, Jordan. Absolutely. Like, Donnie McClurkin is still, cosplaying as a heterosexual man, unfortunately, girl. Willing to allegedly die alone. Then you just go ahead, baby, and put the arch in his back. Baby, just go ahead and set yourself free, baby, okay? Jesus died for the arch and died for the back, okay? Go ahead and do you, girl. You don't have compassion. No, don't have compassion for Donnie. Well, I don't really have passion per se. I just think that there's a lot of moving parts to this, and we need to open up the conversation because it's the MO in the email. They'll have compassion for him in the church because they know, okay. You speaking to that question, I said, will he lose his base? They all know, and if it's secret for years. Wow. I can't answer my aunt loves Donnie like I love Fred Hamilton. I'm so sad about it. God help everyone involved. Jesus. Many, it's just never just one. Let me tell you something, baby. This thing with human sexuality and these systems we've created, girl. Some of these systems are adding to the issue, and some are, make better room for human fluidity and human nature to thrive, girl. But it's clear that the world we've created is problematic. Some of the systems we've created are not well and are not having well effects on human nature. Whether that be certain aspects of religion, certain aspects of the type of ideals we create within community, the type of philosophy and trains of thought we center around certain things. Some of this ideological stuff is amplifying the issue, and some of it creates a healthier expression out of human beings. But it's just clear, girl, with so much scandal in the world, that The world has done something really wrong. And we need a full-on autopsy. Okay? Because it's inner and outer conditions that are bringing about these disturbing results. A panel. Oh, but God, I done been here for 2 hours. I ain't doing no panel. I ain't doing no no, ma'am. The church now in the industry will cover him. Maybe I'll come back and we can do a separate show and I can let you guys come up and speak, but I don't want to do a panel because I've already been here for 2 hours and this was already too long. The church now in the industry will cover him because they've been covering for years. I don't think he's guilty of a crime, but he will become liable for this one because it's civil. The email just expresses how thirsty he was and probably still is, just like those text messages in the Tyler Perry situation with Derek Dixon. My God, today, I'm telling you, the desperation. Tyler was desperate. Outsourcing for that white man's attention like that, girl. Like, girl, go get you go get you, baby, a legal hooker and leave these people alone, Tyler. But I'm telling you, there is a deep loneliness and some very extreme needs and desires that become, honey, when you start escalating in life. And the thing about it is, it's clear that women have a better grip on power, and women have a better grip on, like, the feminine has a better grip on power and money than men do, because we're seeing this really mostly impact men. And so we also have to, that's why I keep saying we have to also explore the socialization, because if men are being more sexually reckless as it relates to money and power, more so than women are, then there's something in the socialization that has created that. And since we do socialize women very differently from the way we socialize men, the key is to look into that socialization. I believe his most first successful song as an artist was "We Fall Down" was iconic because he really, baby, his bank account about to fall down when this white man get, well, I don't know if he's white, but when this man get done with him, baby, the bank account about to fall down. I remember when Larry talked about Donnie years ago, so I definitely believe that Donnie is aggressive. Jesus. I wonder what Marvin Winans feeling about his mint. Oh, Jesus Christ. My God. All them gospel artists, but they better stop emailing and texting, because that's what's getting them caught up, baby. Well, don't, because that's how we also, are clocking the tea, baby. They're clocking the tea, baby. He had to confess that, thinking, a good thing he did, because now this man can get justice if that email is true. That conviction brought, you know what? So that's also interesting, because we haven't talked about that part, right? Is that Donnie McClurkin actually apologizing and taking responsibility for his behavior is also to be noted here too. It means that Donnie actually has a conscience. And then it's the fact that he apologized in a way that left a physical receipt at that. Really kind of can be argued to tell you how sincere and how present he was being, because he wasn't even thinking about the way this come at to haunt him in any way. So that's interesting. Donnie McClurkin repented, and the scriptures do say, if you offend your brother, if you hurt your brother, if you have a gripe with your brother, if your brother has caused harm or you've caused harm to him, then you go to him and you reconcile that thing. And so that does give us insight into the fact that maybe Donnie is not far gone. Maybe he is someone who could be potentially rehabilitated. And that's, of course, if these things are hypothetically true, if they are true. The fact that he has a conscience, it seems. Interesting. Reed Ben said it. That's why Donnie don't like him. Let's see here. I have to close my eyes and keep walking. That's because we was the alpha and omega, baby, feminine energy on period. Okay, they're like a real predator, whose whole purpose and joy is to hurt, and then once they get their prey, watch the predator he plays with it and sometimes becomes disinterested. I think many of these rich men get off on power and control. So sad. Larry, send Donnie a DM and tell him to come on Conscious platform. And get some help. Baby, the way I would have to Iyanla, Donnie McClurkin, it would take a lot more, baby, than sitting with CTV on a StreamYard, baby. You know, I would have to put his face in that hole that Iyanla put that man's face in the backyard, baby. Okay. Speaking to this hole. Donnie. Say it, Donnie. Okay, baby. We have to do some deep, baby. Some very thorough spiritual, psychological cleansing, baby. To scrape all of that up off of his unconscious, baby. Okay, we have to go off into that thing, child. Don't apologize now, though. Well, he apologized then, so that's interesting. You know, but if this man experienced harm at the hands of Donnie McClurkin, you know, he's within his right to seek whatever it is that he feels will satisfy that harm. Donnie, like, help me find my jaws. You know what? Damn. Donnie don't like himself. He don't, girl. He got a lot of issues. You got resist the devil and he will flee. Yep, you do. I don't know if he was spiritually, emotionally mature enough to know what he was doing to his victim. Yeah, it's possible. And if what you are apologizing for is against the law or deemed a crime, then pay up or serve the time. God still loves you and he wants you to be free. Yeah, if he apologized and that email was true, then he should make this easy for the victim. Don't even allow the victim to have to endure a legal process and all of this if you know you've done this. Just as he was clear and willing to apologize through that email, just go ahead and cut that man his check, girl, so he can go on about his life. Go on and cut him his check, child. Don't even allow that man to waste money on a lawyer and draw this thing out and have to endure all of this. Just go ahead and cut that man a check. He needs to read her new book, Spiritual Hygiene. Yep. My godmother, Missy Iyanla. Their ego tell them that they can leave emails in a red trail and never get caught, and they always do. It's a simple mindedness from me, my God, today. Body be acting up every month. Sometimes we have to deal with the natural consequences of the error. Yeah, absolutely. You know, in spiritual circles, we always say, you know, your spirit is forgiven, but your body still may be subjected to contempt. The body still has to pay. Spiritually, you've been forgiven. Atone. That sometimes will not necessarily bleed over into absolving you of the natural consequences. The body may still have to pay the penalty of what the soul did via the body. So yeah, penalty and consequences still may fall accordingly. But at least you're not going to bust hell wide open, right? That's manipulating a person out of their autonomy, then possibly stripping them of their God and leaving them to figure it out. I cannot. Yeah. Or the apology was actually sincere. Who knows? Because that email did put Carlter in a position to then figure out what he wanted to do. But he already expressed too through his interview that, you know, it took him time to sort through all of this. So now that he's, I guess, done enough sorting, he can figure out what the end needs to look like for him. And in this case, yeah, it's the monetary. Put some monetary value on my pain, baby. Pay me for my pain, baby. Pay me for my pain. Gotta tell the truth. So you gotta tell me what you think, girl. I got to get out of here, girl. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, we will be venturing off into church tea. We will be covering these pastors. We'll be covering church. We'll be covering stuff that goes down, child, with religious folk. And you know, the people of God, girl. So if you guys have any church stories, if there's any church tea that you guys see and you love this type of coverage, send it to me via my email and or my DMs, etc. I will return if you guys really want a panel, if you guys really want to pop off on Donnie McClurkin and maybe even this dress, I can come back and we can open up the conversation. Is that what y'all want? Are y'all good? Are y'all good? Thank you so much, baby. The hair is fire. Thank you, baby. Hey, Bubs. And congratulations on your 1K, you guys. Bust to God just reached his 1K goal. I shared his DO Whisper video essay out on the community wall. So make sure that you guys give him a quick interview and give him a subscription. Okay. Right. The email is shattering. We hope and pray for the victims. Yes. The criminal consequences, if great is real, is possible for that state. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if this will go from civil, or it would be both civil and criminal. Child, it's a mess. He needs to read my book. Oh, spiritual bastion. Oh, I love the sound of that, Miss Duchess. Spiritual bastion. Come on now. I love wordplay. That's the devil telling you to email someone that can. No, it might not have been. It might have been literally just his conscience. Like, you know, sometimes if a person is in a profound state of guilt and shame, they may do dramatic things like that, girl. They may just come busting through your front door, fall to your feet, crying and wailing and seeking forgiveness. People, you know, do these type of things if they are in an extreme state of conviction and guilt. So it's not really that shocking that he would email, especially since he's also religious. That probably adds to his guilt, probably adds to the shame, which would probably push him to, you know, do things like that. And to be honest, it could be argued that emailing him the way that he did was kind of a receipt that implies that he was in a genuine state of seeking forgiveness, because he wasn't aware at all of the potential consequences, you know. Or it could have been nefarious. Who knows? You know, he could have apologized to keep this man from exposing it. You know, we don't know. But since there is a filing, Donnie McClurkin is going to be able to defend himself. And so we're going to see what Donnie's response is going to be to these allegations. We're going to be following the story, you know. Lots to unpack here for sure. Donnie did write a pamphlet from victim to victor. Okay. I guess the man read it. Oh. And we do have to consider that. This man could be lying. He could be clout chasing. But I highly doubt that he would present a piece of evidence in a court of law that's not genuine, because obviously it being in a court of law, they're going to be able to verify and authenticate whatever evidence is presented. So the fact that this man is claiming that a whole email of Donnie's admission and confession exists, you know, we're going to see. We're going to see. But Donnie could be the prey in this case. He could be preyed upon. We don't have any objectivity right now. We just have, you know, an allegation. So we're going to see. We're going to see. If you're too busy with our baby daddies, yes, come on back. Okay. Somebody tell me so I can go look at me some 35-year-old. You know what? Add it to the shame, but not enough to not try it again. Well, has he tried it again? We don't, you know, look. What don't come out in the wash, y'all, is bound to come out in the rinse. I'm going to get out of here. If you guys enjoyed yourself, you guys, please thumbs up. Please share. Once again, you can email me, send all church-related tea and news to my DMs, to my emails. Please thumbs up the video, share, subscribe, all that good jazz. If you enjoy everything that Kane does here, you can donate to the platform at $Consciouztv on Cash App and or PayPal.me/Consciouztv. Please remember to pray from you guys. I have a very important meeting with a producer at 10 in the morning. I need you guys to send me light and love, because this would be huge if this meeting goes really, 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 really well. So keep me on your prayer list. You know, we're going to be doing big things for 2026, kicking the year off completely right, honey, with unapologetically black hair. And I'm working on my Facebook page and all of that, you guys. So be ready to tune in and subscribe and follow me on the Facebook. I'll be promoting that through the YouTube channel. I love you guys, and I will see you all later. Peace.